Hi, you guys. It's Acrylic Painting Monday, and we're going to be doing something a little bit different. We're going to be doing a window, and I'm going to show you some ways to make the texture of the wall and the texture on the outside of the window look uh, more like impasto without using the impasto effect so much. We're not going to be using any mediums, but we can get this using light and color shadings of contrast. All right. So if you look down at my picture, you'll see you've got this stone arch going around this beautiful leaded window, and we have the sky um, uh,
Reflection.
coming and reflecting through with the clouds, and there's some dark areas and some light areas. It's not too random. And we have this bit kind of this rosy pink background, and then the shadows on this are sort of a mauve purple. Now, for those of you who maybe pink's not your thing, that's okay. Oftentimes when we traveled in Europe, we saw a lot of buildings like this, but we have our challenge piece for the people that are on our website that are red and purple members. We have the similar picture done similarly, and you can see it, but it's in a beige and more gray in the way we shaded it. And of course, you could do that too. You don't have to do the pink. And I think they make very nice paintings together. But and the reason we do challenge pieces, of course, is to challenge you, because there's a tutorial for this, and then if you go right ahead and then try to paint this one after this, you try to kind of understand what you remembered. So I also want to show you a black and white of this. We're going to talk about how this works with the grayscale. I bought a new grayscale, guys, so I can show you. And also remember that when you're tracing on an image, you don't have to print out color. You can just print it out in black and white too. So it's kind of save your ink. This is this is what we call a reference. A lot of times, for instance, the traceables, Cinnamon sort of coined that name. She gave you an outline. I don't need as much of an outline as everybody needs, more lines or less lines. And so this is done with Sorel transfer paper on orange canvas. We'll talk about why I did that. But I just as easily could have used a black and white picture too. All right. So, all right, I just wanted to show you that. And of course, when you're setting your printer to print, you can just do it in, what is it? It's not pour,
It's
but what are the
called
qualities? Kind of a draft mode when you're printing out your traceables, you know,
draft or speed mode.
you want to do that and not,
Don't use up all your ink.
don't use up all your ink. Uh, so anyway, now here's the Sorel transfer paper, and you can find that on our website. And the Amazon store, the link to the Amazon store. All right. So here's the grayscale, okay? So everything that falls on this side of the grayscale, we're at black and white. You're going to start with white first, sometimes yellow, but you're going to start with white first. And you can see this gray is very close to this side. And then some of the darker colors in here are like under the uh, shadow on the arch, and you'll see some of the colors in the flowers and so forth. And so then the color mixture is different. So take advantage of your grayscale. All right. And all right, so let's just put that away. But I wanted to make sure that you saw that. So I've got the orange background, and there's a little bit of pink. There's orange undertones in this picture, undertones. And John thought it would be interesting to do it orange. It doesn't really matter, but I think orange works. So we're going to tell you about our colors. As I want to thank our mods who I think are going to be here since this is a premiere. I think that we film these videos ahead of time so that when we're not at home or not able, maybe I'm sick or we're traveling or something's happened, um, and I need to have I need to film ahead of time. So that's what we call the premieres. And if it's all possible, then John and I are joining you in the live chat. Okay. And I always type in capital letters. Okay. Just, in fact, my typing, my typing really isn't very good. And I was telling John today that I discovered something sort of interesting, a little personal. You don't mind, right? I discovered that I'd make a lot less errors if I'm, wearing a bra than if I'm typing at home just in my pajamas. I find that, and the interesting reasons for that, but it's just, so we thought we could, anyway, we thought that was sort of hilariously funny. So, all right, here's our paints.
Pull that down a little bit.
The titanium white and the zinc white. Remember, zinc white is your transparent white. You could be using Liquitex mixing white. Buff titanium, burnt umber, raw umber. Raw umber is your translucent umber, so see-through kind of. Then burnt sienna. This is cobalt blue, no, cerulean blue rather, and ultramarine blue, magenta, Holbein luminous rose. That's what that is. Cad yellow medium, raw sienna, and yellow ochre. Those are our colors.
Those two look very similar. What's the
They're
difference
very
in them?
similar. They're very, very similar. And
Is one more transparent?
no, one's a little darker.
That's
A
it?
little bit darker, has some more color in it.
Okay.
Also, we're going to be using some tape for some of our for our window. And let's just put our color wheel away for now. And I'm using a let me put that away too, so we don't get paint all over the grayscale to confuse you. Might want this triangle, but we'll see. So anyway, we're going to get right started down to this. Before I do, I want to just take look at me for just put the camera up here for me on. For a number of years, we've been coming on YouTube pretty much every Monday, and you guys have been coming there with us. And I know my daughter Cinnamon, she was on a number of years, 8-10 years, every week faithfully. There's a lot to putting on these videos, but we wouldn't do it if you didn't watch. And so we want to thank you very much for subscribing to the channel, giving us a like, sharing this with others, and joining our free Facebook club. Ginger Cook, we'll put the link below with our mods, and showing us what you paint. And, it's really like shouting sometimes down a rain barrel because I don't see you. And so I know you're there because you make comments after the video and you share your paintings that you've done. Okay. And we love your thoughts and your opinions, and that we have this wonderful art community. So thank you. And let's make this new year the best ever. All right. So I'm using this wax paper palette to do the color mixing on. And I'm going to take a little palette knife, and I know that I'm going to do that light pink color, so I'm going to start with white, but I might just start with buff titanium because it's got a little brown in it, and magenta. Let's just see what happens. Okay. So if I mix that together, that's pretty bright. And so I don't want like a hot pink wall, but I want a mauve, more of a mauve. So I could put a tiny little bit of ultramarine blue in that, just at like 1%, and that would tone it down a little bit. Do you see that? Do you see it's not quite so hot pinky?
Just graze it a bit?
It grazed it a bit. And then you take a little bit of raw umber and put in there. And that just kind of dirties up the color just a bit. Burnt umber won't do it. And so now when I show you, look, so I'm going to show you, let's just get that one out of the way. I'll show you this, right, like that. See? Do you see how close I've come to matching that color? Isn't it just amazing? You got a close-up of that, John?
Yeah.
Right? So
you're pretty good at this.
Knowing how to mix the colors, we have a Quintessential Color Mixing Journal, a series of about 25 videos, and you make your own journal, but you want to be able to just look at a color and know it. That's we're going to suggest that you do it. And this week only, we're going to be it'll be in our I'll show it to you later, but we'll doing something about that, John, right? Discount or something on it, right? This week only. All right, so now I'm going to take this brush like this. This is a 5/8 inch Bristol-on brush, okay? And I can cut right into the windowsill like that, okay? And right into my I don't have any water on the brush. It's just a dry brush with this color. I know that's so counterintuitive, but you know, we're doing the oil painting technique here. And now one thing you can do is that turn your painting upside down, okay? And use the brush like that, kind of the big wide globs, and then just kind of cut in a little closer to your window, and then just kind of spread it around. I mean, if you've been spreading jam on toast, this is a cinch, right? Same idea. Find little pockets of globby stuff and move it somewhere else. Yeah? Makes sense, right? Now, even though there's going to be a purple shadow, we have to cover the canvas in this pink color. Again, I'm going to turn it around again. Right now, this is layer 1, but we're going to, and I have just enough paint to do that. See how I'm cutting right under the window ledge there. By going up and down and back and forth. Didn't get more water, I just spread the paint more. I just grab the rest of this up like that. And that is my first layer. Okay. So now you would never know I had an orange underpainting, but it's very close to this. You see how we got that color, right? Now there's other colors in this wall which we will put on, but let's just dry that. Let's just take a moment. Don't panic. We're just going to dry that. All right. So that's dry. Now, all right, now we're going to paint the inside of the window. I'm going to just rinse the brush, get all the pink off of it, right? Now, if you'll notice that in the reference, let me just put this one out of the way, is that we've got some light and dark blue window, but most of it's kind of a light gray blue, all right? And then there's some ultramarine blue here on the sides. So we're going to start with white, right? Just come on over here, and I'm going to take some of that cerulean blue and just add a little bit to that, like this. Kind of pull it in there like that. I don't need too much. If you had you could use phthalo too. That'd be all right. Put a little bit of raw umber. Okay. Kind of gray it. And I think I want a little bit more blue. There we go. That's sort of a nice color. All right. I'm going to kind of scoop it up, and that's going to go on the inside of this window.
It's basically your underpainting for your sky.
Yeah. It's underpainting for the sky. You know, back when I was a kid, my sister and I went to Europe on a teenage tour. I was like 14, and I had one of those brownie cameras. I'm so excited to have
Oh,
it.
I remember those.
I was a proud owner of a brownie camera, and my sister didn't care much for photography. It's so interesting. I mean, she didn't have one. You know, she was 3 years older, and I had one. Neat, huh? I had one, and so we were running around like, you know, I was trying to take pictures of the swans at the castles in England. And they had a way of Kodachrome film. Remember that? The Kodachrome
Oh, yeah.
color. And all the skies were in the picture were they changed your picture, and it was all this bright, happy, cheery blue. It's so funny. I mean, we have come so far. You know, you'd think we'd come over um, uh, to Texas on a wagon train, the way I talk about the old days, but still, um, you can see that there's that color. I might just put a little bit more of that in there like that. And I think that's kind of nice. I'll tell you what, if I had some black, let me just show you what that does. Sometimes you can use a little black for something like less than 1%. I mean, it's just really kind of, because you don't want it all the same color, but here's just Mars black. You have to be careful, but let's just put a little of that. Let's just gray this with some Mars black. And that makes it just a bit. I'm going to just put a little of that in this color. I'll just mix it in my window, and it's just going to kind of dull this down a bit. right in a couple places, okay? Right? And because the window isn't going to be all the same color, okay, like this. Maybe there's just a bit of this color in there, just barely touch it. All right, I'm going to take some ultramarine blue and add to this. All right, and I'm going to come in here like that. Put some ultramarine blue. Kind of, you don't want it too perfect. Just a little bit where it's picking up the sky. Okay, and this is still wet. So I have to be kind of careful, otherwise I would have dried it, but like that. Now, if I dry it, I can do another layer of ultramarine blue, and I'll show you the difference. I'll rinse off my brush because I've had the light color on it. Okay, wipe it off. Make sure you're using your terry cloth rag here. Here's a little bit of, just want a little bit of ultramarine blue here. Something a little bit darker, and I can use just the brush like this, so it's not too perfect. All right. Now I'm going to take a smudgy brush, and I'm going to do some zinc white. I'm going to come up here like this, making circles as I go. Just like this, no water on the brush, and I'm going to come up here and suggest this part of the window is lighter, maybe over here. Okay, that's very translucent, this color, okay? Okay, and then maybe I'll take a little bit of titanium white, like that, and just tap it in here, like that. Not too much, but just mostly it's blue. And maybe I'll just take a little bit of cerulean blue without anything, and then, maybe add this color. Because I do not want my windows all the same color of blue. We're just kind of playing with that a little bit here, like that. So there we go. So that's when let's take a little buff titanium too, because sometimes clouds have a bit of a color in them with some white. There we go. It's a little bit too buff. Let's do a little bit of white with that. Because I want this just to suggest this cloud here, okay? So as long as I'm in those colors, let's take some buff titanium, which I'm all out of. This is the golden color. All right. And what I want to do is just take it like this and say, I'm going to come like this. And I'm going to do one kind of some layer of my bricks. I'll have to do more than one layer. I don't want any water on the brush. I'm just going to sort of kind of put these in here like that. These stones. Notice how this edge comes out a little bit. And every once in a while, I'll reload the brush. A lot of people try to make their paint go further by just adding water. We just want you to reload the brush. And we don't want this edge, this is kind of a rough stone, so we don't want to tape the edge because we want that kind of the outer edge to look a little bit bumpy. All right? So there you go, like that. And notice where the cracks are in the stone. I've just sort of left the orange. So this is what we're painting. I'll put that right here like that to show you. This is just the first layer of paint. I'm going to come up here with a little peak. Did you know this is called, what is this called? What do they call this, John? This stone
No,
right
that's
here.
the stone.
It's called something, and somebody knows already, and they're screaming it at me. It's but
they're yelling and screaming at us both.
during the Crusades,
Keystone.
Keystone, yeah. During the Crusades, is that sure that's the Keystone? There was a
It's
Keystone
the one
was
that
at the
locks it
beginning.
together.
Yeah, during the Crusades, um, the the Knights Templar, the Knights brought back the secret of that cornerstone and how you can make buildings arch. And when they talk about the old days, they had like guilds and stuff, mason guilds and stuff like that, and carpenter and so forth, because they guarded the secrets of of the geometry of how they put these buildings together. Okay, and you see, we haven't done much, and already we have this really kind of cool window, don't you think, you
You
guys? I
really
mean,
do.
really, just
I'm impressed.
we haven't done too much, really. We've just done that, and we did a little layer of that. So when I come a little bit, I can't now. You don't want to go any more paint on that, okay? Look, you guys, you don't no more paint. Dry it. If I can, my New Year's resolution, I will use my dryer more. Yes, okay. Yes, that's your.
I
Yes,
love my dryer.
yes. Uh, let's let's see. Now I could do another layer on this, which I'm going to show you. I'm going to do another layer, and I'm going to take some of the black color, a little bit of the black and the buff titanium, okay? And I kind of dirty this up a bit. I don't want it real gray, but it's dirty, okay? So now I'm going to dirty up this stone here a little bit, okay? Like that, okay? Okay, now I'm going to put a little bit of raw umber in that, okay? Maybe this stone, let's put a little bit of raw umber and buff titanium. Let's do that, okay? Because nothing is ever just one color. Repeat after me. Nothing is ever just one color. All right, and so now, um, so it's already kind of looking better. Now I can't really use the smudgy for this, but I can use an angle brush. Definitely for sure I can use an angle brush because I want to take the buff titanium and a little white, and I want to come in here like this on this edge, and this is my first layer. Well, this is the light's hitting this edge, so it's got to be lighter. Okay, right here like that. Okay, and as it comes up and around, it changes color, but this part is definitely light.
Is that
Okay,
your half-inch one?
yeah, that's the no 3/8.
Oh,
And then I'm going to come in here like this across the bottom of the window ledge with my first layer of paint. Okay, so and I think I'm going to take a little bit of raw umber, and I'm just going to just kind of tap in these um the grout a little bit. They don't have to be real strong grout lines, you just have to suggest them, okay? Then I'm going to take the raw sienna, and I'm going to come in here like that underneath this. And raw sienna maybe, and a little bit of burnt sienna. Okay, and I'm going to come under here like this and create this sort of shadow color here where the arch goes around the uh, curve. Put a little bit of blue in there. Just take a little bit of blue color. There you go, because you want a little bit of a shadow. Then I'll get a little bit of light color here like that. There you go. Okay, so that's where it's curved. Okay. And I want that sort of blue-gray color over here. So let me just put a little bit of blue with that buff titanium like that, like that. There you go. So now when you get that much, you get a big glob, wipe it out and kind of roll your brush off so you're not dealing with globs. But you see how we're just kind of putting the buff titanium and the ultramarine blue together, kind of dirtying this color up a little bit. I think I even want even a little bit of the um, cerulean. So as we layer these colors in, it's kind of fun. And I might take some burnt umber and wipe off the excess. Okay, just on one side of the brush. You see it less here, but so now you see how this window's coming to life, and we haven't really done that much. But the trick is, John and I harp on this all the time. It's the layers. So now we're going to take our friend the hairdryer now. Yeah, well, I know you're not 6, but really, we gotta consider this our friend. I honestly had a student. I went over to teach a private lesson at his house, and I said, "Where's your hairdryer?" He says, "Oh, it's in the closet." I said, "The hairdryer has to be in the studio, man, with an extension cord ready to use."
Yeah, I remember that. It's in the closet. I don't want to get paint on
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Remember that? Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
Well, like,
Really. Hi, you guys. Ginger Cook here. You notice I'm wearing a T-shirt. It's one of our, this one with the jelly beans. But I have the title is "Where else could I use this color?" And you often hear me saying that when I'm teaching a tutorial. Where can I use that color? And I want to talk to you today about our Quintessential Color Mixing Journal. And this is let's see, 25 videos on how to mix colors and how to make your own journal. And for instance, you'll see this page here like that. And what does the color look like when it's gray? What colors make these different colors? And we start with just basic colors, and you can mix so many. And you want to do it because you want to learn yourself how to do it, because um, it doesn't if until you make the journal, until you practice it, um, it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. Yeah, you know it, but you don't really know it. And how do you get these subtle shades? Let me just bring you down to our desk here. I just finished painting this arched window, and I want you to see how close I got the colors of my reference to the color of my painting. You see that? Look how close that we got in the window. And I was able to do that because I really understand how to mix colors. And this is something you can understand and easily do too. And it's just it's a game changer when you're learning to paint. And so this week we're offering the Color Mixing Journal at a discounted price, 1 week only. It's part of the new year, and I'm just going to um, uh, suggest that you take the time to make one yourself, because that is the only way. For instance, we even have one on skin tones. Oh, what are the different reds? What all the different colors they make? What are all the colors that you make from yellow, purple, and so forth? Um, there was no purple in this painting that out of the tube. There was no Dazzling purple. I made this purple to match this reference. You see that? I really, for the new year, I hope you'll take advantage of that. Ginger Cook's Quintessential Color Mixing Journal. And I'm telling you what, it's going to be a game changer for the new year, and you're learning to mix colors. So thanks for watching, and go to our website at acrylicpaintingwithgingercook.com and check it out. And there'll be a link in the description too. Okay, so I hope you're having fun doing this, because this is, painting's supposed to be fun. Now I'm going to rinse this light color off my brush, okay? And we're going to take some burnt umber and ultramarine blue together. And then we're going to wipe our brush like that and reload it again because we rinsed it and we're reshaping it. And so I want a little bit of, I want that burnt umber dark color. Not using black, but I want that dark color. Now, right next to this, the inside of this arch, particularly up here like this, around the point of that arch, it's dark. And it's like almost a dark blue color almost. Now, as we come along down here on the sides, this just going very slowly, just at like a few inches at a time, maybe a quarter inch at a time. Not trying to do this in one fell swoop, right? I've got the inside of the edge of this window. It's a little thicker on this side. So when you want something, when you're using an angled brush, if you want it thicker, you just push a little harder. Okay, we just want really up here like that. All right, and that's let's put a little of that color under here too, like that. Okay. So again, we're building up the window, and now if we were going to do anything else, we would need to dry it. But well, I guess we could take some yellow, right, and we could paint this triangle in yellow. It's not going to stay that color, but we're just going to start with the bright yellow here, like that. All right, all right.
Is that your cad yellow?
That's cad yellow. Yeah, that's cad yellow. All right. So since this is dry again, okay, we could do this. I think I can work a little bit of. I'll just get rid of the yellow on my brush and wipe it off like that. Now I'm going to take some white, and it's really in blue. Come over here on my palette here, and I'm going to take a little bit of that black color. Okay, a little bit more of the cerulean blue. Okay, and let's take a little raw umber. There we go. Now we've kind of grayed this color. Now, this is the shadow color for this brick. Kind of cheeses up here like that, but take a little bit of zinc white with that. There we go. Zinc white will lighten it without making it chalky. Okay. Now we're going to put this color in. And then it kind of does a little bit of something like this with the shadow. Okay. All right. Now that's pretty good right there. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the inside here with the leftover paint. I'm just going to come in here like this on a few of these, not all of them. Or maybe even put a little bit more of the black color in it. Make it just a little bit darker. There you go. So that's the shadow side of this. And then I might just put a little bit on the edge here. Okay. So you see how we're building up the colors? Now this is not difficult. And I say this with great sincerity. You can get this easily. This is the kind of thing where you just can't do it all that's in one fell swoop. Okay. So now see how we're building up the window, and if John's doing a wide shot here, right, or like this, you see we're building that up. Now again, we're going to dry it. Just I hate to be repetitive, but we have to dry it.
You're being repetitive.
Now this is where we can use some tape. If we couldn't use the tape if we hadn't dried it, right? This is where we can use some tape, just a little bit. You don't want to overdo tape, but tape can be your friend. And this is where, particularly on windows, tape can be a big friend. So we're going to get, we're going to say right like about this part of the, right up to about where the curve starts. We're going to do that. Just leave the edge up there. And just right where the, there we go. Yeah, okay. Let's just smoosh that down. Now this is the lightest art, shadow and art. That's our lightest in our arsenal of colors. So I'm going to have a dry brush, no paint on it. And I'm going to take that buff titanium and add just a little bit of white to it. Okay. And I want this to be the lightest right here. A little bit of white. Okay. That's your lightest color on the whole place. See?
Now you want to take that tape off before it dries, right?
Well, it's good. It would be good if you did it, yeah, before it dries. But you don't, you don't not necessarily have to, right? But it's a good idea. So now I'm going to come up here like this and just at an angle and say, here's some of this light area with a shadow in it. And we can come here on the top of our ledge here, which is nice and light here like that. Then back to the buff and then bring this uh, brick all the way down. So here we go, and we'll make some of the, this is how we're layering this, adding a little bit of color here. You don't want the grout very thick, okay? All right, then I'm gonna just take a little bit of this color and come inside like this. So it's, again, we're building the window up, which I think is kind of neat. Now we need to do some more color on the outside of the window. So that can be drying while we do the next layer of color for the um with the magenta and a little black and white and a little umber. A little bit more magenta, more black. I want quite a bit of this, right? So here's where we're gonna kind of play with the pinks a little bit, all right? So we're gonna, let's see, that's a little bit dark. Let me change brushes. Where's that big brush? Knock that on the floor. I think so. Yeah, I did. I knocked it on the floor. Well, that's all right. I have a handy picker-upper thing to work with that. Just can't get the electric cord in at the same time. See, one of these things. Need one of those in your studio. Okay, so
With your hair dryer.
yeah, with your hair dryer. So I'm going to make that a little bit pinker, but it still has that mauve feeling. Now I'm just going to kind of lay this on here like that. And I might put a little bit of yellow and magenta in it. Okay, just pull some different colors here like that. So it's just, you don't want it to be just a solid sheet of whatever this is, right? And I know it's lighter on this side of the picture over here. This is the lighter side of this um, window, okay? And I want some orange. So I can do yellow and magenta makes an orange. Okay. Mostly yellow, okay. Now, then I would want some white in that. Okay, so now I've got this sort of kind of orange color. See? Now I've just put it in a few places on the window. You know, we could simplify this video so much and not tell you these things, but I feel you got to know.
We
You
could
know,
keep it all secret.
I can't not tell you that you gotta know this stuff, right? And then I'm just gonna take a little bit of that black color, which I have some. Well, I don't have any left, so just put it out again. One thing, if it isn't a Stay Wet palette, but your colors will dry up. That's why we recommend the Stay Wet palettes. Take a little bit of this black color, okay? And I'm gonna just mix it with this, with just like this, right? Just mix this with this, right? And then I'm gonna use just the tip of this, and I'm gonna put a few little cracks. Not too many, just a few over on this side. That's an old wall, okay? And you know, a lot of people wouldn't just bother with that, but I felt like we had to bother with it, and that's a little bit of a wide crack, so I'll just make that a little thinner. You can break up some cracks, but there you go. So now, and when we get ready to do the purple shadow, okay, we have to dry this again. And you're thinking, this is all she does is dry. And guess what? Yes, that's all I ever do is dry. Yes. So now, if you look at my reference, look at that.
Man, it is dead on. How did you do that?
Well, that's why I'm trying to explain it. It's a doable thing here.
You're making it look like it's doable.
So now I'm gonna just save the. Yeah, just take my paper towels. Kind of need some more of those, John. But
What do you
well, I don't need them right this minute. But I gotta load up my paper towel. I'm gonna save that black
Okay.
and just put it over here in the corner. Now we're gonna just tear off this sheet and and start again with mixing colors, okay? Because we want to mix that purple color. So I don't want dazzling purple because that really has a glare to it. So I know I'm going to want some black. Okay, I'll just put that up there. And I'm going to want white. So I'm going to grab this color like that. I'm going to want some white. I want some ultramarine blue. Okay. And magenta. Okay. And some white.
Now, how do you know that's what you need?
Well, I guess it's because red and blue make purple, and magenta and ultramarine blue make a really nice mauve. And if you put a little black in it, now the other way you can gray is to put a little bit of the raw sienna in it. I call it 1%, and that will gray that mauve. That will make that more of a mauve. You see that? See, and I want a little bit more blue in it. So I'll just look at that. Say I want this to be a little bluer. I don't want it real bright. Okay. So that's my color. And if I were to show it to you, see?
Yep.
Do you see that's the color?
Once again, you did it.
So it's just important to know. Again, I can't stress it. Next break, I've got to show you the color mixing journal. I encourage you to start make a color mixing journal this year. We'll give you a discount on the on for this week on the purchase of one, and I think you will be very happy you did it. So okay, so under here like this, right at the edge of this thing, it kind of is at an angle like this. All right. So this, it doesn't go straight down. Just keep that in mind. But we're putting the shadow color here of the painting. Sometimes, you can, one that's fun, if you, something you might want to consider doing this year is going to an art museum and looking at the art and try to do I know now how they painted that? Not if you could or if you wanted to, but you know in what order they painted it. Could you have painted that? Okay, so now we're going to leave some holes in here like that of the pink. Okay, we've got kind of a big hole around here like that. And then this comes off at an angle. Let's move all this stuff out of the way. Right at the peak here, it just goes over a little bit further.
Apparently, it's a tree shadow.
Uh-huh.
That's what I figured
Whatever.
it is.
Maybe from something that makes an interesting wall, right? So like that, just just using the edge of the brush here like that. And there's our shadow here, and I've got just enough paint to do a couple more little things like that, okay? All right, now now we're gonna mix it again. Okay, some blue and some white, okay, and magenta. We're gonna do more magenta this time. See that? And more blue. All right, now here we're gonna dry brush. I'm just gonna put some of this color. I think I want it even more magenta than that. Okay. We're gonna say underneath this ledge here, it's a little bit got this sort of pink color and it's a little bit darker. Just kind of keep the brush flat as you add a little bit of this color to the shadow. Now you don't want too much, okay? And
There's always more than one color.
that's it. And sometimes now we can take a little bit of burnt sienna, okay? Okay, a little bit like that, right? We're gonna come under the window ledge just a little bit, like that. And then I want some yellow oxide. I'm not gonna clean the brush and white. And I'm gonna come under here like this and add the bottom of that window ledge. Okay. Then I might take some burnt umber and wipe the brush off because I've got a lot of paint on it, right? Just wipe it all off. Yeah, I'm just gonna come under here like, oops, see? Well, I just was not looking and got that. So let's take the purple back.
Nothing to panic about.
Yeah, see, let's just like that. All right, so we got something darker under here. Even I'll take a little bit of the black and put it on the brush, wipe it off, make it a little bit darker under here like that. Pull it down. All right. So now we've got really an interesting background here, don't we? I mean, it's really interesting to me. If I took some buff type luminous rose, right, and wipe that all off the brush, and then pull that on here like this, I could just kind of keep the brush flat, something like that. That's pretty. So, some different ways that you can do things, different techniques. All right, so let's try that, and
Not
we'll
again.
again. Yes, we're gonna try that again. Yes, drying.
Drying.
What's our New Year's resolution? Use
Dry,
my hair
dry,
dryer.
dry.
Now I need that window ledge to be a little bit thicker and more precise. Now we're going to go ahead and use our tape now.
Because it's fully dry.
Yeah, because it's dry. Like so. We're going to cut off the little pieces at the end so that we get a good end piece like that. Um, like so, like that, a little bit of an angle. sticking out a little bit further. That's almost like straight up and down, but not quite. Okay. So I'm going to take a clean brush, doesn't have any water on it. All right. And buff titanium. It's a fairly thick layer of it. Just a little bit of that kind of gray color underneath, kind of like that. Just not too much, maybe a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay, like that. Okay, that works. Like that. All right, so then off comes the tape. People always say I can't draw straight lines. You absolutely do not need to draw a straight line. You just need to know how to make one. That's all. That's all it is, right? Just roll the tape up and put it in the trash. All right, so as long as I had that brush out, which was here, I wanted, we lost a little bit of our arch here, so I'm going to take a little bit of the burnt umber, come under here like that. This has got to be darker right here, so it goes up into a point.
Goes with my keystone.
This my keystone goes up like this, and then the keystone goes up kind of like this too. All right. All right, so I think we've got a pretty good start on this as far as, what we need to do to make this work. Now, um,
I think you've got more than a start.
yeah,
I think you're well underway.
yeah, we're well underway, right? So just kind of do that. And some of the orange shows through. That's all right. You can also do some yellow oxide. And I'd like to have this to be a little bit lighter under here. Now it's taking the paint beautifully. We've had enough layers of paint now where it's working. See that? All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to dry that part, and then we're going to put the leaded glass in, the windows, and then the final step will be the flowers. All right? That is the order of something. This is where it comes in very handy to have a T-square, because, for instance, we know we want to go straight down for the middle of this.
Okay, that's a triangle versus a T-square.
Yeah, that's right. You're right, but this is where you want a measuring tool. There you go. Yeah, yes and yes, okay.
Well, see, I thought you'd use a T-square and hook on to make sure you're perpendicular.
Yeah, well, no, well, we could have done that too, but you can use a triangle because you've already got something straight,
Gotcha, boss.
and then you can do like
One or
this,
the other.
one or the other, right? So, I'm going to use a Posca pen, a brown one, because it's not too dark, and if I can wipe it off if I'm wrong, right? And so that looks pretty straight up and down to me. Does that look straight up and down to you?
Looks straight up and down to me.
All right.
You're at least matching the window.
Yeah. So you kind of hold it down like this, right next to the, you go right next to the line there, and you see how you got that line like that. And then we have another one uh, that's about, you go from here to here. So there's one coming here. And also we might as well just outline this for us ourselves as long as we're doing it. Just outline the oh, that piece, okay? So we want something just right here, and right here down. So now this is where, I know Monique and our friends are going to measure, and Ginger isn't going to measure, and you should measure. You should be good in measure. I just don't feel like measuring. I'm just going to wing it.
I get a protractor out. I get
Yeah,
my T-squares.
the more even it is, the better. But we're gonna go for it,
Well, you got to
right?
remember, this was done back in the 1800s. How much precision did they really have?
I don't know. They built a Sistine Chapel. They were pretty good, actually. But who's
Okay, look, I'm trying to defend you here.
I know, but like that. So we're gonna do that like that, and just lay that out. That looks pretty good.
Not really. I didn't see that one come in.
Well, it didn't, but it looked pretty good until I didn't come in, right? But it had its moment, right?
It was there for a second.
All right. So now I know this sounds crazy, but we have to try that before if it looks good, right? I mean, we just put it upside down, hold it here, and we're pretty happy because you could wipe this off if it wasn't right. Okay. I'm going to dry that before I do the cross pieces. So it just takes a minute, but I'm going to dry that. Hi, you guys. Ginger Cook here. You notice I'm wearing a T-shirt. It's one of our, this one with the jelly beans, but I have the title is "Where else could I use this color?" And you often hear me saying that when I'm teaching a tutorial. Where could I use that color? And I want to talk to you today about our Quintessential Color Mixing Journal. And this is 25 videos on how to mix colors and how to make your own journal. And for instance, you'll see this page here like that. And what does the color look like when it's gray? What colors make these different colors? And we start with just basic colors, and you can mix so many. And you want to do it because you want to learn yourself how to do it, because um, it doesn't if until you make the journal, until you practice it, um, it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. Yeah, you know it, but you don't really know it. And how do you get these subtle shades? Let me just bring you down to our desk here. I just finished painting this arched window, and I want you to see how close I got the colors of my reference to the color of my painting. You see that? Look how close that we got in the window. And I was able to do that because I really understand how to mix colors. And this is something you can understand and easily do too. And it's just it's a game changer when you're learning to paint. And so this week we're offering the Color Mixing Journal at a discounted price, 1 week only. It's part of the new year, and I'm just going to um, suggest that you take the time to make one yourself, because that is the only way. For instance, we even have one on skin tones. Oh, where are the different reds? What all the different colors they make? What are all the colors that you make from yellow, purple, and so forth? Um, there was no purple in this painting that out of the tube. There's no Dazzling purple. I made this purple to match this reference. You see that? I really, for the new year, I hope you'll take advantage of that. Ginger Cook's Quintessential Color Mixing Journal. And I'm telling you what, it's going to be a game changer for the new year, and you're learning to mix colors. So thanks for watching, and go to our website at acrylicpaintingwithgingercook.com and check it out. And there'll be a link in the description too. Now, when this comes in for PAC, personal art coaching, I'm gonna notice that some people forgot to do these little lines at an angle, like that, and like this. This is at an angle. All right.
You're going to be in big trouble.
So remember that these are this is at an angle. See, I forgot one here too. It's an angle, right?
Don't you have another one up there on the left?
Well, yeah, there's going to be one here at an angle too. See
But
that?
come on down that. You still have one more on the left. At
Here?
about that one.
Yeah, just barely put it in there. Just hit it. It's not like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're going to go, Now this is where it's helpful to have the use a triangle at the let me just move this up. So I'm going to say I want it to come right about here with these two angles right here, like that, where these two meet. And I'm going to go across like that. And let's just shake that pen up a little more. Posca pens are really nice. I really wish they'd make them darker brown, but you know they don't. So because then we're going to come down here and do one here like that. And then hold the triangle on the side there, so you know you've got it level. And just come across here like this. Okay. Yes and yes. And then we're going to do one more here. So let me move this out of the way so I can push the picture up enough where I can do it. But basically, this one doesn't meet with any lines. It's just, we're just kind of doing, I'm guessing now. You could have gone over it with your traceable to really see. But I think I'm happy with that one right there. So this is where this is going. All right. So yes, now that we've done that, kind of neat, right? Yes, tell me you think it's neat.
I think it's neat.
Neat, right? Now I'm going to take the black Posca pen, now that I've got kind of like laid that in there, right? And tested it out here. So, okay, so I'm going to go over this a little bit like this. And then it's, because these lines are need to be, put a dot here, then put a dot here, right? And these kind of curve up like that. And do that. And do that. Okay? So then there's like a little dot here in the center. So you don't want it to look too neat. Not that anybody would ever accuse me of making anything too neat, because that's not my thing. But I think I'll take the Posca pen now. Just you want to be able to see them, and you could tape all these and just paint them in like that. You sure could. But I want them a little bit rougher than this. This is old leaded stuff. So it's these little circly things. And I took a stained glass window course one time, and I sucked at it.
Oh, I
Because
was
I
very
kept,
good at
because
it.
I just really, that is a sock folders thing. And, Cinema's dad, we had a hot tub, and we had these windows all in the house, all around the hot tub. And um, he didn't like stained glass, so it was very expensive, man. That is not a cheap hobby, stained glass.
No.
And I thought, man, if you don't like it, because I mean, it was a lot of money. And of course, I wouldn't want any old stupid piece of glass. I had to have a really nice piece of glass, right? And I
Of
wanted the one with
course.
all the colors in it and everything, and they want more money for that stuff. So see how we're kind of refining this. And that's the trick, you guys, is that uh you don't have to, you just make it a little bit rough looking.
Rustic, as it were.
Yeah, doesn't have to be perfect, but like they're not totally perfect, but it's close enough, right? So now um the next thing that goes on there is the white. So now I'm going to go ahead and dry those lines so that I don't interfere with the white. So I'm going to shake the pen up really well and test it, right? So now you've got a little bit of light going across on the top, over the top of that. Just kind of a white, kind of where the Okay. So that's kind of authentically old, right?
Yeah, it does.
All right. That's authentic. We're going for authentically old. New term, authentically old. So now I'm going to take a little bit of the raw sienna, and I'm going to and add a little bit of magenta to it, about half and half. And I'm going to say that there's a little bit of a shadow up there like that on this. See? Like that. So perfect. Look at that. Yes. Are you impressed? Yes. Okay. So now, um, let's take some time to do our flowers. We're might take a little bit of this raw sienna, come under here like this, maybe yellow oxide there. Gonna want under there like that. Okay, so um, we're gonna start with the green first. So if you're taking the raw sienna and ultramarine blue, you can get a pretty good dark green. Okay, and we're gonna come up here like that, just using the corner of the brush, and we're going to suggest some green. No, that's just burnt umber and raw sienna, mostly burnt umber. And that's our dark color. It's all in this corner like this. Something goes up here like this. Take a little bit of yellow to that.
Is that your angle brush and you're just using the toe?
Yeah, just using the toe of the angle here.
3/8 angle.
Yeah, I've added a little bit more yellow, cad yellow medium to this color. Okay. And now I've got sort of a moss green color. I'm going to come around the corner here like that and over the edge. Lights on top like this. Just something up here like this. Okay, so you can see now if you add a little zinc white to that color, okay, now you're going for the next light color. Well, let's put some buff titanium with it. See, now you've got 3 colors of light here, like that. Might even want to rinse your brush before you do it, because it's that we're not drying the paint, so we're just gonna kind of like that. Now we've got some lighter leaves too. So we have 3 colors of leaves, not just one. Okay, because this is still wet. Okay, and I want something very dark right up in here like that. So then, realistically speaking, I would need to dry that. I don't think I will. I think I'm going to take one of these dagger brushes like this. Like this. This is a triangle. This, I guess it's a triangle brush. Oh, I don't want that one. It's like Goldilocks here. Which one do I want? Okay, where did we put
Too many
those?
brushes, too many choices.
Well, I mean, there's certain brushes that are really good for certain lines. Okay, so here's one, the Bristol line triangle brush, right? And so we're going to put in I'm going to wet the brush, which, wow, Ginger never wets the brush, right? Put a little bit of black and brown together. Just mix those together, okay? Wipe it off. Now I'm going to come up here like this and wiggle it kind of like this and make sure I have enough paint on the tip, because I'm just using the tip here. We're saying that this vine is crossing over, and I'm going to get some burnt sienna now and just not rinse the brush, but now I'm into browns. And make sure that you fork it. Part of the press. The harder you push, the heavier the line, so you wanna brace your arm or rest it on something. If you're just painting with the toe of this, brush, you're saying that there's this line here. Alright, and then reload the brush, and we wanna put a little bit of the dark color on here, and we've got some vines coming under the window's ledge and coming across like this underneath.
You're doing what vines do. Go everywhere.
Yeah, and then maybe I'll take a little yellow oxide. I haven't done much of anything. I'm just gonna come up here like that with a vine. In here like this. Just pretty much keeping it on the side of the window like that. Now, that's pretty good. I mean, you just want to keep it very, very thin. And don't get too crazy on me, right? Maybe have something coming off this way like that, but up like that. Plants grow wild, so it's not like you don't have to get this perfect. You're after all um your garden. Now we're gonna dry that, okay? And we're gonna dry that because we want to put the flowers on, and we don't want to smudge the vines.
Can't do that. No smudgy vines.
Yeah, I'm gonna take one of these silver brushes. Rather, this is the golden maple. It's just a little detail brush, right? Number 2. And we're gonna go ahead and mix the yellow, cad yellow medium, and the ultramarine blue, and a little bit of buff titanium. Okay, and we're gonna come on up here like this, and we're going to put some leaves on this vine, like that. Then skip a space and do a couple others. Okay, like up there. Now, if I take some ultramarine, well, let's see, some blue and yellow, maybe the cerulean blue and yellow now. Let's make some, well, it's not quite, a little bit darker green here. As we get into the shady side of our window. So if you got a branch that's like got a little thick on you, did that happen to you? Well, just put a little leaf or something over it, the fat part. Okay, you can fudge that, yes? So let's take a little bit of the yellow light color. Where there's a light, there's a dark. And you can imply a plant, okay? This is just so interesting. You can, um, I'm just going to put out some phthalo blue because I'm all out of the other blues. And I've got this sitting here. I'm going to take phthalo blue and yellow, and I'm going to make a pretty deep green, mostly phthalo blue with some yellow. And I'm going to go ahead and see just a little bit darker on the green here in a few places. I wasn't quite getting the green I wanted. Okay. There's some vines down here like that are crossing over. Already we've got really a kind of a neat window. We haven't done much, right? Except to do that stuff. Now, because we're going to be doing pink, all right, and yes, right? We're going to be doing pink. You want to um, dry it again. Just, I don't, and it must seem so redundant because, gee, we just dried it, Ginger. Yeah, you did, and now we're going to dry it again, right? Um, you can also, if you didn't have a Posca pen, you can use a brush like this. Before I dry it, you could thicken up a few lines if you need to, if you felt like you weren't getting the the effects you wanted. Like, you can use a little brush too. The Posca pens are acrylic paint, and they're just so much easier to use. All right, so I'm gonna dry that, then we're gonna do the flowers. And, this is don't you think this has been fun?
I think it's been great.
So now we're gonna use that little tiny brush again, and we're gonna start with, sort of, the, titanium white, which we need to put more paint out of. So that's the buff. Or just, can you imagine we used all that white up already? Put a little more out. And we're gonna do magenta and white, like that. Just, we're gonna come up, I think, right about here. Now you see I had too much water on the brush, which is why I always tell you to really wipe your brush if it's been in the water, like that. Now let's go try that again. Maybe just more magenta. We'll start with the dark color first. I want this magenta, big kind of what, light rose color. And I've got one right here, like that. One over here like this. Then I'm going to take some of the white color and I'm going to make this one a little bit lighter. It actually covers part of the um, wall there. And you want these to, like, I want a big one right here, okay? So let's just take a little bit of that in white and kind of rounded in shape. And then we've got another really lovely one here. Not totally round though, kind of interestingly not round. We've got little ones that don't make them all the same size. Oh, that's one of the mistakes that new artists make, is that all the flowers are the same size. Vary the size. You want to write that down for the new year's. That the random, try a little bit more random what you're doing.
Random, colors, layers, hair dryer. Got it.
Got it, right? And just do another one right here like that.
There will be a test next week.
Now, those are not going to show up because that's just the first layer on those flowers. And if you do that and say, my flowers, Ginger, just don't look like yours. Well, because you got to dry them more and layer them.
More to them.
This is where the luminous rose comes in. That's such a beautiful bright pink. So I'm going to take the luminous rose color right here. I'm going to paint this color on this flower like that. The same thing here like that, just a little bit brighter pink. Then I'm going to do luminous rose and white. We're swirling the paint around. Wipe the brush off. Get some more white paint. This edge on this flower is pretty big here like this. See, that's too much paint, so you got to be careful and don't get a blob of paint when you're doing your flowers, and just try to get some sort of petal shape. There's a little bit of a random petal shape like that. Okay. Now you can only lighten up so much, and so you have to darken stuff between you know, there you go. Okay, so let's dry those and do our final layer on those. Okay, so I'm going to rinse the brush because I want to go into some white paint, right? And I'm going to wipe it off, make sure I've got all the water out of the brush. Now, it's into the white, titanium white. Okay, This one is a little bit brighter. This one is kind of looking up here like that. There's just a couple of lines here. This one is much lighter. It's on the light side of um, the wall here. So we've got that and sort of a light pink on this one. And take a little bit of buff titanium with this one. Not quite so bright. Okay. So we've got these flowers, and then they've got a yellow center. Maybe raw sienna, maybe better than that. Not quite so bright. Now, some of these you won't see it, but there's a few that have the yellow center. Okay, see like that. Now to get these flowers to show up, I'm going to take ultramarine or phthalo blue, brown, and a tiny bit of yellow, and I'm going to go back around here now and darken. Remember, I told you wherever there's a light, there's a dark. So if you want something to show up, you can make it darker. So if you, for instance, if this flower isn't showing up, you can add something dark to it. We can add some dark um, leaves around this one, and it shows up. So much depends on maybe it's a light or dark. So maybe there's some light yellow leaves here, and then these little flowers show up, and you can use this little brush and make some tiny little leaves like that. Okay. So a lot of little tricks on whether something is light or darker. The other thing you can do is you can lighten the blue. If you want this flower to shine up, really show up, right? You could put some light blue next to it and also reshape it that way, okay? So you're not stuck with anything. Maybe I want just some light blue in here like that. See? So it's that light dark thing that we're talking about when we paint things. And I want to uh, just do a little bit more on our wall now. I, I remember people when I was taking art school, they were always said thick and thin lines, thick and thin lines. Just remember that, thick and thin. And I want this a little bit brighter up here because it dried darker. See, those are the kinds of things where you're playing with it. And you look how close we got the picture to the reference. And so as I look at this, I think the only thing I can think of to do is that maybe make these a little thicker up here. Not too thick. Just this is a good way to kind of gauge how well you're doing with your um, pressure that you put on the brush. So you guys, John, you have a little frame for this? We could show people what that looked like, and I'm just gonna put a few leaves on here, and let's just pull
Let's see if
a
we can't
shadow
find
here
one.
like this underneath this bench here, under this here like that. There you go. And put a few little leaves on here like that. So we're gonna put that in a frame for you and let you see what that looks like. I'll dry it. And I think this is kind of maybe one of the best balcony um, window tutorials I've done in a long time. I think it's gonna really make a difference for you. All right, so look at this. I want you to see how we got the colors. I mean, look at that? How we got the colors, and look at how we got the window. And I can see where I needed some darker colors around this flower on this side right here, like this, right? Because I want this one to show up, right? Okay. And maybe there needed a little bit of shadow under here. Something dark on this side, right like that. Something darker under here, because I want this to show. So kind of look at your reference. I mean, you got, look at the reference. Don't even take my word for it. Just look at the reference and see what you could do to, and you don't want to you don't want to overthink it. But you know, you've got these little, like these little, uh, vines coming down underneath the window ledge, like that are all part of this plant that's growing. And it's dark right like that, kind of there on the edge. Tweak it a little if you see the need to. Don't overpaint it, but I think I want to connect that one like that. And I will have a little bit of dark here, so just put a little light on that. Purple. Okay, so that, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and sign it. That's I think this is really probably one of the best tutorials we've done on Windows, and I know that I've explained it so perfectly that you're going to get it right like that for sure. And I want you to have fun with this. And just do one little thing here as we're talking. Subscribe to the channel. Um, we want to thank everybody that donated to our scholarship fund today, and you guys, you keep us going, and you help keep others going too. There, okay. So I can't wait to see your paintings, and you let me know if this was helpful for you. And have a happy new year, and we'll see you on the next video.
Thanks, everyone. Make
Bye.
sure to hit the thumbs up on the way out and the subscribe button.
Bye.
Bye.